All right, everybody, welcome to post game number 4 of 2021. And the Seahawks have found themselves back in the winner's circle, 28 to 21, on the road against the 49ers to move to 2-2, salvaging their season a little bit, salvaging some hope that they can make something positive of this year, and generally just making us feel a little bit better about where this team is headed. So, going to be a more optimistic and positive post game video than the last couple, but there's still a lot to look at with this team right now and really not like, and that stuff will be talked about before we're done here. But we did win, so that right then and there, you've got some positives you can pull from this game from there. You win 28-21 on the road. It's hard to win on the road. It's hard to win against a division rival. I'll take that. But this was a weird game. I honestly, I'm a little confused as to how we won and won somewhat convincingly, because the Niners scored their last touchdown with less than 2 minutes to go. Just basically, it wasn't garbage time, but it was sort of a desperation last chance sort of deal where we had a 15-point lead with less than 2 minutes to go at one point. So it was a convincing win on the scoreboard, but I don't quite know how we got there. There were periods in this game. There were stretches in this game where this team didn't look like an NFL team. This didn't even look like an NFL game for some parts of it. This looked like the 49ers were, Alabama, and the Seahawks were Alabama State. And we were one of those cupcake teams that the big colleges pull in. The way that game started, it really looked like that. Somehow we weathered that storm. We started executing in the second quarter, and we end up pulling out a fairly convincing win. But the stuff you saw early in that game doesn't go away. And quite honestly, were it not for some issues the 49ers had, mostly at the quarterback position, I don't know how this game goes. It may very well not go our way, and we're sitting here having a very different conversation. But, hey, injuries are part of the game. Playing inexperienced players who aren't 100% ready is part of the game, so I'm more than happy taking what I can get. So, let's try to talk about it. So, this game starts, and I'm sitting here at home watching this game thinking to myself, okay, we've been kind of embarrassed, especially on defense, the last two games, but we've been embarrassed as a team. So we're going to come out with some fire. We're going to lay the wood on this 49ers team to start. We're going to have a lot of energy. And I spent the first hour of this game just mystified, staring at my TV screen, not even really getting angry because I'm in shock that this team was so lifeless. You get the ball first, 3 and out. Offensive line looks awful. Wilson makes a bad read on third down. And then the 49ers march down the field like it's butter. Jimmy G throws a touchdown, and it's 7-0. You go 3 and out again. You give the ball back. You get a stop, but then you're going 3 and out again. And then I think you get an interception from Garoppolo at that point. Yay, but you don't do anything with it. We don't get a first down for the first 20 minutes of this game. Maybe it was 25 minutes. I can't even remember. We had -3 yards until late in that second quarter when we finally put together that thank Jesus touchdown drive. It was incredibly lifeless. Forget bad. Forget not scoring points. Forget giving up points on defense. Forget about all that stuff. We just looked dead. And I was just sitting here in shock that this team, forget about who the coaches are, forget about who the players are, just as men, don't you want to come out with a little bit of fire in your belly? Don't you want to go out there and do something emphatic just to say, hey, we take this seriously and we're embarrassed about the last 2 weeks. We want to at least come out with some fire. And no, -3 yards until late in that second quarter. I think the defense gave up close to 200 yards by that point as well. Somehow, by some miracle, probably because the 49ers offense sucks, we held them to 7 points. So we caught a break because we're playing a pretty bad offense with a bad quarterback, and not 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 a very deep stable of running backs, and a superstar tight end who was clearly crippled in George Kittle, and no kicker, by the way, no Robbie Gold. And if Robbie Gold is in that game, it probably shakes out just a little bit differently. You're not looking at missed extra points. You're not looking at missed field goals the way you were with whoever the hell that was. But somehow, some way, you play that bad, like 200 yards of offense versus negative 3 yards, 25 minutes in. Somehow, some way, you're down a touchdown. And watching that first hour or so of the game, I don't understand how we pulled that off. I really don't. But we did. And unfortunately, I have to conclude that it's probably just because that Niners offense is in a bad state right now. After that, I'll give my credit to the offense. I think this offense, against a pretty good Niners defense that was really taking it to them early, especially on the defensive line. Our offensive line was getting manhandled through that entire start. And honestly, they didn't play perfect later in the game either, but they improved. Wilson actually had time. He was hitting some checkdowns. Alex Collins got involved in the passing game, and I thought he made a couple of really nice plays on the screen game. Metcalf got involved on a couple of key drives. Jump started this offense with his big play and his touchdown on that second quarter drive. We ran the ball a little bit better. Collins actually had a pretty good game. Looked better than Carson for this one at least. And Wilson made some crazy good plays after coming out very sluggishly. I don't think he got sacked in the last 45 minutes of the game. I think all three of his sacks came in the first quarter, so that picked up. And I think this offense, I'm not going to say it was good, but it was efficient. It avoided turnovers, and it was able to grind out a couple of big plays and a couple of crucial plays when they needed it. 28 points is not bad. 28 points is what I said we would probably need in order to give our defense a chance to hold up enough to win this game. They got there. I think I said 24. They got a little past 24. 230 yards of offense, which is roughly what we had. I guess it's 234. That's a problem. But I have said before, and I'll stand by this. I am willing to wait out the early glitches in the Shane Waldron scheme. I will say, I don't think there's any excuse for how bad it was at the start. And honestly, even when it got good, it wasn't that good. Michael Dixon punted 8 times today. That's not okay. We have enough talent on that offense, and they had enough problems on that defense to where you shouldn't be punting that much. You certainly shouldn't be going 3 and out 4 or 5 times to start the game, and you should be putting up more than 230 yards. But I'll give them some credit. They came alive in that third quarter. Really, they came alive in the second quarter, if you're being honest, but they had a good third quarter, first time all year, and I will take what I can get against a good defense. I will give them credit where credit is due. Avoiding turnovers is key, especially in a game like this, and sometimes you have to eat the punt. Sometimes you have to eat a punt, and 4 touchdowns, hey, you're efficient enough to take advantage of the few times you do have success. So I'll give it to this offense. But this defense, I know it's settled down, but if you're looking for me to heap praise on them right now, look somewhere else. Because they came out and they made the change at corner with Sidney Jones, and it looked like exactly the same crap. Exactly the same garbage. Receivers running wide open, no pass rush. I hope you guys are starting to realize it's not these players. Yes, some of these players aren't very good. Yes, some of these players, they're a problem, and we need better players. But you're swapping out these players, and you're seeing some of the same results. It's not the players. I hope you guys are starting to realize that a little bit. And you can't even stop the run against random backup running backs that the 49ers had no interest in giving huge carries to when this season started. So many of the guys they wanted to have out there at this point in the season are not out there, can't really stop the run, and you finally get an interception, yay, but realistically, the 49ers leave so many points on the field today. So many points because they have bad quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo, he sucks. I had some people get on me in the comment section for my pregame video, but Garoppolo is awful. And you left receivers so wide open, he looked okay for a little bit, honestly. And then Garoppolo goes out, and they replace him with somebody who has some talent, but is clearly not ready. So you get the first half against a bad quarterback, and then you get the second half against another bad quarterback who's just bad in different ways. I mean, how many times did Trey Lance overthrow a receiver by 10 yards or throw a ball into the dirt and it 2 hops to the receiver? Clearly not ready, so you benefit tremendously from unforced errors on the part of the 49ers offense. They still run the ball pretty successfully against you. Your run defense is still nowhere near fixed. Debo carves you up. Most of it was on a busted coverage. I get that. And why do we still have busted coverages? It's game 4. These guys have been together for a while. Everybody in the secondary knows each other by now. Everybody in the secondary has played with each other by now. Why are there still busted coverages? Why are there still situations where the Niners' best receiver is open by 20 yards? Why is that happening? That's the kind of stuff that happens maybe in game 1 or game 2. It honestly should only be happening in the preseason. And I'm still seeing it in game 4 with a bunch of guys who have been together for over a year. So what the heck? I guess Sidney Jones just got here. I guess you could say that. But the guys involved on that play? No excuse for that. So, yeah, the only guy on this defense I really am into right now is Darrell Taylor. I'm seeing maximum effort from him, and I appreciate what he's doing. But other than that, fortunately, we played a bad offense today. It's a bad offense. I'm going to call a spade here. As the game went on, I will say the QB pressure picked up. We actually got a lot of pressure on Trey Lance. He did a great job avoiding it. He did a great job keeping plays alive. But we got pressure on Trey Lance throughout that second half, and if the referees didn't forget that offensive holding was a call that you can make, Carlos Dunlap probably would have drawn 3 flags in that second half by himself. So there was some positive stuff there, but I'm still seeing receivers running wide open past the sticks for first downs and chain movers. Still seeing a lack of ability to generate pressure early in the game. I'm still seeing a lot of the things that I really don't like with this defense, and I don't buy them 1%. Well, okay, maybe I buy them 1% because I do think the pressure did amp up a little bit as the game went on, but this isn't... Overall, it's still not good enough. Today, we plainly and simply, I think, got a little lucky that we were playing a bad offense and we were playing a quarterback who is not ready for primetime yet. Trey Lance, I think he's going to be good one day. Not ready for prime time. So you do get this win. Offense shows me something in that in those last 3 quarters. I'll give them some credit. The special teams, you win the special teams battle in a dominating fashion. And that's really the pivot point of this game, where you force the turnover on the kickoff and you're generating easy touchdown off of that, and that whole game feels like it pivoted at that moment. This was a blow-for-blow battle until we got that cheap touchdown on offense. So credit to John Radigan, by the way. Really cool to see him make a play. But yeah, I still don't totally know where this team is headed. I feel very confident that if we play that way defensively against a good offense, we're gonna have a really bad time. So need to see something a lot better from this defense if we're actually going to salvage this season. And honestly, even on offense, even though I am high on some of the things we did, what's Dwayne Brown doing? I feel like he's putting bad plays on the tape every game now. Like, the Vikings game was obviously a struggle for him. I didn't see a whole lot that I liked from him in this game either. Trying to block Bosa without using his arms, I guess. I don't know what to say about that. That's a bad development and something that will be really hard to deal with if it continues that way. And credit to DK Metcalf and Lockett for gutting it out with injuries out there. Credit to Freddie Swain for making that nice grab on the touchdown that really should have been a sack. Credit to Wilson for making that play happen. Credit to Alex Collins for actually having a really productive game, and he was there when we needed it because Carson did not do anything really today. But lot to work on. Realistically, this game swung on a special teams fumble by a very much incompetent kickoff return man for the Niners. So, got to see something more going forward, but it's a step in the right direction. Post-game stream tonight, second half of the Sunday Night Football game. We'll talk about it, but right now just be happy that we won, and we'll go from there. See you guys later. Go Hawks.